we pray and we hope for change because we feel like our life is missing something.
Yeah.
And then there's a part of it, like once you have that thing, I think for the first time, and not to go like, but it's like, I have so much to lose. So there's a whole, the change of being a parent, the change of being married, the change of any significant thing in your life, all of a sudden, like, that's amazing. But then what you have to lose now is
so much greater.
10x, 100x, more, like, you can't understand, like, I couldn't imagine. So there's a vulnerability that comes with change. And
there's a vulnerability with every stage of life. You add on a level of vulnerability when you get married. And now there's two of you and you have to be responsible. Like, both of you have to be responsible for each other. And then that 100x is when you start having kids. Like, you move, you do all these
or
different
start a
things.
business, do all things.
100%. Like,
as we gain, we increase our exposure.
like, think about the places that, like, this is the one that always gets me. I think about the places that I lived when I was not married. Right? And how, like, realistically, sure, I was younger, but realistically, like, I was totally cool with it.
Sure.
Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. But now, we could never go back to a place like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I applied for global entry a few weeks ago. And in that, you have to list every place you've lived for the last, since 2018. I was in college then. And so that took me down a whole trip of, then you had to list your
graduated
employment.
from college in 1998.
That's right. I graduated in 2019.
2008.
But so that thought I had, like, sitting there, noting down all of my addresses, thinking of the time that I lived there. But then also you see this change of, I go from being an intern to where I am now. I go from living where I was now. I was then. Then within that, you think of, who was I then? And all of the changes that had to come. Because even moving from that first college house to that first apartment out of college, and then going from graduating to starting this new job, then I had to go from that job that I was really comfortable with to a new one. And then I had to uproot cities entirely. And how you handle that change is really the big determinant of who you become. I think it's really, I had a whole moment, like, typing out all those addresses, just like, man, like, it was really hard, and there have been a lot of really difficult circumstances, but if you look at everything to your benefit, and you can really, you only grow through change.
Yeah.
That is great. You only go through change. And I think we would phrase that in a lot of different ways. Earlier, the best way to learn is to fail. Like, all these different kinds of things. But I think that we can get so fearful of change.
We resist change.
So much hesitation, so much anxiety and stress is created out of the fear of change or what could happen. That's completely hypothetical.
Yeah. As if the place that we've arrived now is the best it could ever be.
Right.
And so we don't want to change because how could it be better than this? How could fashion be better than cargo pants? Like, we had to,
so much storage, dude. Like,
keep all, like, it's, being comfortable. But we all know deep in ourselves, like, the fact is, like, we need to, like, be challenging ourselves. Like, a change has to happen for us to progress. And as soon as we stop doing that, we become, like,
complacent.
Just complacent. And then ultimately things will change because, again, we say change is inevitable. If we embrace change and challenge, hopefully that moves us forward in our development as humans, in our relationship with God. You know, but as soon as we say, like, no, this is it. I now have what I need to have. I know what I need to know, and I'm not moving from this point. I think you would tend to see is, like, you're still going to experience change, but it's going to start slowly moving backwards. You're not with the time. And, like,
I think
that's scary.
I think it's David Goggins that talks about that. Maybe it's like every day you're going one direction. There is no flat line. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. It might be him. It's somebody talks about that. Every day you're either, in everything that you do, you're either getting better and you're going towards your goal, or you're getting worse. There is no stagnant line.
Yeah.